Brötsch in the chat room. He will answer your questions. So please feel free to send us your questions during this presentation, and we will try to answer that immediately. And additionally, as well, we will try to answer a few questions afterwards. So finally, we have a few minutes time to discuss your questions. And I'm very happy to welcome also Mr. Sebastian Dröps from Solarwatt. He's our guest speaker today, and he is sitting in Germany, and he will join us and take also part from the presentation. So the Solarwatt presentation will be done from him. Mr. Dröps, maybe can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello from Dresden.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Great. Then thank you. I guess we can start. What I would like to show you is first a short overview about the storage solutions with Fronius inverters. Then Mr. Dröps will introduce the Solarwatt MyReserve matrix battery solution. And then we'll give you some additional information for the solution. What do you need to set up and to do the commissioning with a Fronius inverter and a Solarwatt battery. And finally, the questions, as already explained. So what are the storage solutions so far? We are offering, beside our energy package, which is a three-phase system used in a DC coupled or AC and DC coupled system, now also the Solarwatt solution, which is a DC string integrated system. So the system, the battery, will be integrated in the DC string. And these are two batteries, the Solarwatt MyReserve 500-800 and the Solarwatt Matrix. Today we will focus on the new Matrix solution, which is the solution from now and for the future. If we see a DC coupled system, you see the battery is connected on the inverter. So there is an output of the inverter where you connect the battery, and the battery is on the DC side. So after the string, you see the inverter and then the battery, and then the conversion to AC, and then to the consumers and to the grid. This is actually the system for new solutions. Then we also have a solution for systems, for retrofit systems. Whenever you have already an existing inverter, any inverter, you can add a Symo hybrid and a battery, and this is then a so-called AC coupled system. If you use DC string as well on this hybrid inverter, then it's a AC and DC coupled system. So it's a mixture of these two systems. If we compare now the Solarwatt solution, you see that the battery is sitting in the DC string. So the DC string passes by to the battery. So you have to connect the DC string on the battery, and then you go to the inverter. So in this case, you can use any inverter, any Fronius inverter. What we need here as well, you can see, is the Solarwatt AC sensor. This is an additional current sensor which is measuring the injection at the feeding point. What are the general advantages and disadvantages of this system? So the DC coupled system, as you can see, has a very high efficiency. It's also ready for the multi-flow concept, so you have a bi-directional charging. You can control the energy flow in all directions. It's also possible for AC charging, and it's also possible for DC charging. As well, you have a three-phase emergency power mode with this solution. On the AC coupled system, you have probably more flexibility because you can add it on the existing system, but you have a low efficiency and you need more components. The AC and DC coupled system is a combination, as you can see, but that requires two inverters. Now, in comparison, the DC string integrated battery, this solution needs no hybrid inverter, so you can use your standard Fronius inverter, a high efficient solution as well, but you have some exceptions. There is no AC coupling possible, so you're not able to charge the battery from another AC source, from another PV system, for example. And there's no emergency power mode possible with this Solarwatt battery solution. Now, this was just a short overview. Now, before we go to the Solarwatt introduction, I would like to ask you a short question. I hope you can see the question now. The question is, why are you actually interested in this Solarwatt solution? Is it because you need a retrofit battery for single phase? Is it, are you looking for commercial battery solutions? Or is it just that you want to get information about this Solarwatt solution in general? So if you could give me, please, your feedback, and then we'll show you the result. Actually, I can see, okay, I guess we can close this poll now. So the result was that most of you have been interested in just to get information about this Solarwatt solution, and 7% are also interested in the commercial solution. Okay, good. Then I would say I would like to hand over my presentation now to Mr. Trips from Solarwatt. So he would continue now with his presentation, and he would like to give us an overview about these battery solutions. So maybe, Mr. Trips, can you hear me? Are you already logged in? Hello. So please, Mr. Trips, continue.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much again, and indeed that you give us the chance to present our company and our storage solution system once again within a Fronius webinar. Just for the beginning, I want to say some words about Solarwatt. We were founded in 1993, so this means next year we are celebrating 25th anniversary, and so we are in the market since 25 years nearly with PV modules. We started with PV modules and building them until now, and so we were making the whole, learning the whole technology curve with PV modules, coming to the point yet. And as you know, we had a bigger crisis in PV modules in 2012, 2013. So we were first forced to have a new orientation to new markets and to new products, and you very quickly came to the view that we need to present more products, that battery storage system might be the very next big thing within the PV industry, and we were very lucky to find the right people, to find very good engineers to bring up the battery storage system MyReserve. We introduced the system MyReserve in 2015 at the Intersolar in Munich, and won right away the ESS award, kind of the Academy Award in PV industry. With this MyReserve, we started into the market, and the market is very fast. So right now, or this year, we introduced the next generation of our storage system, the MyReserve Matrix. And we were very glad we won right away the ESS award again. That's why I want to talk today about the MyReserve matrix and introduce you to the system. But first, because it's international webinar, I want you to have a little look in our world map with our markets. All the colored countries we are active in, and the orange markets we are already active with the MyReserve matrix. It's not, you have to pass kind of a lot of regulations, so we are going to each country step by step, and what you can see here is Ireland is still yellow. We are having some installations on a FUT basis already in Ireland, as well as in Sweden and Finland. Right now, in all the orange countries, you can get our storage system right away. But let us look on the system itself. We are truly modular battery storage system. We have actually only 3 main components to build up our storage system. What do you need? Of course, PV modules and an inverter. Would be the ideal choice. Would be a Fronius inverter. Which size doesn't matter. What you need from Solarwatt is, of course, a housing, a control unit with all the power electronics included, as well as the connections and switches are all included in this control unit. We call it MR command. Then you have our battery modules. We call them MR packs, and each of those battery modules containing a capacity of 2.2 kilowatts per hour. And the last component is our AC sensor, our current sensor. You simply need it to measure the feed-in or the demand from the household. And here now you see on the right side, it's the system, the MR control, the black one on the bottom, and installed 1 battery module. So we would have a matrix now with a capacity of 2.2 kilowatts per hour. Very small system, but we'll see you can expand it to a larger system. But let us talk a bit about the dimensions very quickly. Each component, more or less a shoebox, to tell you the actually wide is 38 centimeters. The height of 1 command or 1 battery module is 23 centimeters, and the depth is 26. So in the installation with some you will need just a command and a battery module space for the height of 45 centimeters, as you can see on the presentation. The width is a bit larger because you see the black cover on the right side. So it's 73 centimeters, and the depth is still 26 centimeters. And if you expand the matrix to the maximum with 5 battery modules, you will need a base of 135 centimeters in the height. Something very important, especially for the installers, is the weight of a battery storage system. With this system, you won't get problems with your back, because our power control unit, the MyReserve command, has a weight of just 12.9 kilograms, and each battery module, and this is the heaviest of all the system, is 25 kilograms. But as it comes just in one box, each battery module, you would be just forced to carry 25 kilograms in a single way. The installation is wall mounted, and the protection class is IP31, so we are not that far like Fronius with its inverters that you can literally install everywhere. With our system, you have to take care that you install it in within protected areas where no water is coming vertically onto the matrix. The temperature range in its optimum is from 1 to 30 degrees Celsius. If it's minus, if they're the negative degrees, we won't charge or discharge, and from 30 to 45 degrees Celsius we are going into derating, but a normal installation it should be between 0 and 30 degrees Celsius, and we will operate in our optimum. Certified, like the MyReserve Classic, we are again certified after the safety guidelines for lithium-ion household battery systems from the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. With the MyReserve 500, 800, we were the first company that fulfilled the whole safety guidelines of the KIT, and again with the matrix, it's certified again that we are safe after those guidelines. Yeah, let us have a look a bit more into the technical data. Now you have an installation of a matrix with 3 battery modules on the right side. So it means if every battery contains 2.2 kilowatts per hour capacity, now we would have a capacity of 6.6 kilowatt per hour. But not only the capacity is important for the customer, it's also important how much power you can charge or discharge. With each battery module, we get a discharge and charge from about 800 watts in continuous operation. And so we are installed, or the battery modules are installed in serial connection. We add up always 800 watts with every battery module. So in the picture you can see here, it would be charge or discharge output of 2,400 watts. If you use 5 modules with one command, you would have up to 4 kilowatts charge or discharge output. The input voltage is very important as well, because we are string integrated. So we are just behind the PV modules installed, and we need to take care that the voltage coming from the PV modules is not higher than 900 volts. It means about 20 standard modules with 60 cells can be installed together with one matrix. The input current is 20 ampere. So if you consider that a normal PV module has a current of around about 10 ampere, it would be possible to actually install parallel strings onto the matrix, onto the MR command. So you can actually double the string length of modules that are connected to the matrix. Storable energy per module, I already told you, is 2.2 kilowatts per hour. And the depth of discharge of our battery modules is 100%. So what is written on the nameplate, you will get out. The DC current source, standard crystalline amorphous lithium photovoltaic modules. And just to tell you our overall efficiency, it's 92%. And the efficiency with direct internal consumption, because this is important, not always we are working if the PV production is enough to stay in the household. If there's no feed-in to the grid, we don't need to charge, we don't need to discharge, and then we have an efficiency of 99.8%. So let us have a look how an installation could look like, that you get a clue what you need to do when you install our system. On the bottom you have again the EMA command with the number 1. On the bottom of the EMA command you see already all the plugs where you plug in the DC cable from the PV modules, where you plug in the cable to the inverter, where you have the switches, and where you have little LEDs just to have a quick view if the MyReserve is charging or discharging. Then on this point number 2, of course, that are the battery modules. The 3, this is the wall support. So this support you connect to the wall, and into that you get those modules. Number 4, that are our plugs, our interconnections from the EMA command to the battery. And number 5 is the cover that you screw in the end to protect the plugs and to make sure no dirt is coming to. What you can see here now is that it would be very easy to reinstall or to add another battery module, because you just need to get such a little wall support plate, just fix it, get it to the wall, and add another battery module, get another plug it into the already existing plug, and then you already added up 2.2 kilowatts per hour as capacity. So if the customer is coming and telling, okay, my storage system is not enough, in the night I'm empty too early, it's very easy to retrofit another battery module. So this is what we call plug-and-play installation, very easy installation. We always tell our customers about our charging and discharging electronics because we consider it as very smart. We don't need data from the internet. We just need the data from the household. If there's demand from the grid, or do we feed in, and all we do is collecting the data of the last days, of the last weeks, and to know what is coming from what PV production is coming from the roof. We see about together with the current that is coming, with the voltage, if it might be cloudy, if there's very much sun. So if we have to charge faster, or can we charge a bit slower, but can we charge in the optimum for the cells and in the optimum for the whole efficiency system? Yeah, I talked quite a lot of time about battery modules. What is very important that you get 10 years warranty for the battery modules, and we just talk about 10 years. So we don't say about, oh, there's no extra condition. So if you say 10 years, and if you have a failure within those 10 years with the batteries, you get new ones. As I told you already, it's suitable for nearly any system. So you can use a Fronius Primo, just with this 2 kilowatt peak installed, or you can use a Fronius Symo up to 15-20 kilowatt peak. As we are string connected, string integrated, you can install us literally in any kind of system. We are scalable from 2.2 kilowatts per hour until 22 kilowatts per hour. So actually 10 battery modules. I'll come to that with another slide later on. But before, I just wanted to show you that we went even with our control system a step forward, because now you can monitor our MyReserve matrix with iPhones or Android devices via Bluetooth. So you just get close to the matrix and you see all the data that is important, like the production on those string, if the battery is charging or discharging, the state of charge, you all see within an app on a glance. As I told you earlier, you can install the system with a capacity of 2.2 kilowatts up to 22. How do we do this? Each MR command, each control unit is possible to support up to 5 battery modules. If you want to use more than 5, you can simply add another MR control. You should have then another string, another PV string. So you add this MR control to the second PV string that is in your household, and then on every MR control you can add another 5 battery modules that adds up until a capacity of 22 kilowatts per hour and a power of discharging or charging from up to 8,000 watts. And this is a slide where you can get an idea how it works. It's actually a MyReserve with 2 battery modules, so capacity of 4.4 kilowatt per hour, and it's a Symo 6.0. So it's about PV modules with power of 6 kilowatts peak. And what you can see here is a normal day, actually in August. I was looking for some data from the last days, from the last weeks, but unfortunately the weather was very, very bad in Germany. Yeah, and I didn't really find any nice slides, any nice pictures to show you. So that's why I took someone from August. And what you can see here is the black line. This is the curve for the state of charge. And on the left side, you can see the power. So what you can see here is that the matrix is discharging until about 6 o'clock. Then we are waiting, of course, we are empty. The PV production is enough to stay in the household. And about 8, 9 o'clock, we are starting to charge until about 19, until about 7 or 8 o'clock. And as you can see here, we don't do this with the maximum speed. We wanted to take care about our cells. So if we know that the PV production is enough to be fully charged in the end of the day, we don't charge very fast. We just charge in the optimum for the cells. And as you can see, between 7 and 8, the MyReserve is fully charged and already discharged again because the customer obviously needs the power. The PV production is over, so we're discharging. And let us have a look on the next day what will happen if there's not enough PV production. Then we are just charging right away what we can to be full in the end of the day to support fully the household. Yeah, and this is my last slide, just to give you a view how it could look like if you install it into your house, into your cellar working area, and just to get a view of the dimensions of those storage systems. And with this, I want to switch over again to Mr. Pelzer, and I'm very curious about your question that I can answer later on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Trips. That was great. Good information. I guess we have heard that very detailed now about this product. Now, what I'd like to continue now is, the total system. What is our recommendation for such a system in the solution? So if you have a standard Symo Primo inverter, for example, the matrix battery storage will be integrated in one string, as you can see here. You could also connect two strings on this battery because the maximum current is 20 amps. So as you know, one string has about 8 to 9 amps. So you could connect as well two strings parallel when they have the same string length, of course. Take care about the voltage range. The voltage range is depending on the number of power stacks. 150 volts with one and 350 with 5 power stacks, battery power stacks. So that's important. Please do the configuration. Maybe for the first ones, get in contact with Solarwatt to do the right string connection and the dimensioning. What you need to do as well is, of course, you need to add this CAN bus cable to the Solarwatt AC sensor. So the AC sensor has to be connected on the feed-in point as well as the Fronius smart meter. And with this solution, you are ready. One thing else is important: the dynamic peak manager should be switched off of the inverter, because the inverter would monitor the whole input voltage range, as from a Primo could be go down to 80 volts, which would be below this window, and then you could have problems. So for the better functionality, switch off the dynamic peak manager. As well, we recommend to use the Fronius smart meter as well, because with the Fronius smart meter you have the free of charge Solarwatt monitoring, where you can use the Fronius energy management as well. You can see the energy consumption, the total consumption. You can also see the energy which comes out of the battery at night time, because you will just see these as the production would cover as well the night demand. So basically, that's the most important information, which you can see then as well in Solarwatt. What you can't see is the SOC status of the battery. For that you then need the Bluetooth interface from the Solarwatt Matrix battery via your app. Yeah. Okay, now how to switch off a dynamic peak manager? Very simple. You press 5 times the button, the second button from right side. Then you enter the basic code 22742 and go to the dynamic peak manager settings and switch it to off. Then confirm, and enter, and then you have the dynamic peak manager off. Now I'd like to give you some more system examples. We have the easy retrofit solution for residential business, let's say 2.2 to 11 kilowatt hours with a Solarwatt matrix storage. You just add the battery in one string, one MPP tracker, and then you can choose what size of battery you would like to use. So this is the single-phase solution. The three-phase solution, for the three-phase solution, we of course recommend the Fronius energy package with the Symo hybrid and the solar battery, because here you have the full functions, emergency power mode, and other functions which could be important as well. And third example is the commercial PV system. Here we see a solution with a 20 kilowatt Fronius Symo inverter, two inputs on two MPP trackers. So there's one battery on MPP1 and one battery on MPP2, and two similar strings on each battery. So here with that solution you can achieve a battery capacity of 11 kilowatt hours. So that's let's say the commercial solution, the biggest commercial solution so far we can offer with this. Okay, so these are the examples. What I need to inform you as well is we have a conformity letter available on our webpage. This letter is so far for the matrix only ready for the Primo series, but in December we will also offer this for the Symo range, for the whole Symo range from 3 to 20 kilowatt. So we have already done the test. The results are fine. We just need to do the last test and then confirm this letter of conformity to offer the same warranty conditions as we did with the standard solution. Yeah, what else is important? If you'd like to start with Solarwatt, you need to have a training, the certification training. This is a one-day training from Solarwatt, or half a day, one-day training offered in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland as well, in UK. Other countries I'm not sure about, therefore we need to ask maybe Mr. Trebs later on again. And the service support is coming from the Solarwatt hotline, so please contact Solarwatt hotline whenever you have any issue with the battery. Now again, just a summary for the features. The system with Solarwatt and Fronius is an easy retrofitting solution for all Primo Symo inverters. It's a modular concept as well, from 2.2 to 22 kilowatt hours. It's a future-proof solution. It's extendable storage, so you can extend the battery later on as well. When you install your Fronius inverter now, of course you can do the battery later on, and you can also extend the storage, battery storage later on. But you also have to know that there's no AC coupling possible with this system. So if you have a second PV system, there's no possibility to charge the battery from the other AC source, from the AC side. And we have no emergency power mode, so the inverter, of course, is a standard on-grid inverter. Will not work with in emergency power mode. So when there's no grid, also the inverter will switch off, of course. And the monitoring, here we recommend our Solarwatt solution monitoring system, which is included, and of course with a smart meter you see your consumption over the day. You see all consumption which is covered from the PV system or the battery, and this gives a good figure about the self-consumption rate and the autarky of this system. Yeah, the Solarwatt monitoring is optional, can also be added. Now we are at the end of the presentation, so I'd like to ask now Roland, do we have some questions, or would you give us some questions? So we've seen so far we didn't get any questions, but feel free now to send us your questions. We would like to try to answer that immediately now within this webinar session. So please use the time to send us your questions, and then we will answer that. Yeah, still waiting.
Yeah, maybe I can use the time.
Yeah, Mr. Trips.
How we can
Yes.
teach you, how we can make you fit for the installation, because it's different from country to country. I just wanted to just get onto our website, solarwatt.com, and there you find the links for your specific country, and there you always find the email address or the information about where we have and when do we have trainings to get more information about our system and how to install it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, that's important. Yes, great. Good. So I've seen there are no more questions for the moment. Then I'd like to come to an end with this webinar, and I'd like to switch off my microphone now. But we'll stay another few minutes with you, so you still can send us your questions. We will answer your questions. If you send it, we will write you and return you the question in this way. So I'd like to thank you very much again, Mr. Trips, for your presentation. It was great again. Thank you for your participation. We are very pleased that you all have taken the time to listen to this topic, and we will be pleased to see you very soon again on one of our next webinars. Thank you very much and goodbye. And Mr. Trips, thank you too.
Yeah, thank you very much too, and goodbye to all of you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.